Sarah, thank you for coming to the ELN studio. It's great to see you.
Thanks so much for having me, Chris.
So the IRC is an iconic centerpiece of global culture. What are you doing at a conference for early childhood development?
Well, I am the head of education for the International Rescue Committee, and I oversee IRC's programs in 40 countries and 20 U.S. cities that are serving children around the world. I'm here to learn from the amazing expertise and all of the researchers and students, everyone here.
There's
and
a lot.
Take it in and really try to apply it then to our programs.
So let's talk about your programs. What is the mission and what is the vision around education for IRC?
We focus primarily on refugees and displaced people living in conflict and crisis settings. We were founded in 1933 by Albert Einstein, and at that time our mission was primarily to help refugees in Europe seek safety throughout Europe and in the United States. And because many of the people who founded the IRC were academics themselves, education was central to everything we did from the moment we were founded. Obviously, the world has changed. There are a lot of similarities to that time. But primarily our vision is to provide access to learning opportunities for children of all ages, from birth through adulthood. Most of our education programs are in the primary school range, but we are doing a lot more early childhood development to improve those developmental and learning outcomes that we know are so important.
So give me some examples of what are the tactics or programs or capabilities that you help bring to them. A refugee in a camp someplace, what's a tactical, practical thing that you do?
One of the more common things we'll do and sort of easy to envision is that we set up preschools or early learning centers. They look very different depending on the country. We help establish those centers. We hire facilitators. Sometimes they're trained teachers. Sometimes they're just community members. We provide them with support and training, and then we go out in the community, talk to parents, and bring children into those centers. But one of the things that's, I think, most exciting about some of our early childhood work is how we leverage the other sectors and integrate early childhood into every sector program that exists. So there will likely be a health facility, a community health clinic, or community health workers that are meeting with families in a community. And we, oftentimes they don't have the training or information about what young children need. So we'll equip them with understanding about young children. We'll give them resources to use in their clinic or their home visits. And we'll kind of blanket all of the social services with early childhood content.
Interesting. So identify kind of an existing distribution network, as it were, and help them.
Yeah.
Is this statistic still accurate? Over 62 million children in countries affected by war remain out of school?
It is. For refugee children specifically, which is a smaller number of the overall population of displaced, it's more than half of all refugee children have no access to any form of education. And in early childhood, it's far, far higher. The kids who have any access to early learning or the kind of care that we know will promote their development is tiny. It's a sliver of the population.
And you can only imagine as migration and environment and other changes occur and force movement among people, and that's a humanitarian crisis.
It is. And it's in many ways the biggest opportunity as well, because I think the system itself hasn't been set up to serve these children and to provide these kinds of programs. 5-10 years down the road, we know what's going to happen to these children if they don't get the support that they need.
Well, you can't do what you do for a living if you don't see something like that as an opportunity and not a challenge. You've got to have that view. To close out, the MacArthur Foundation's 100 and Change competition and the bringing of Sesame Street to Syria. Tell me about that whole event.
It's been really fun and remarkable working with Sesame Workshop. We'd been testing our approaches in the Syria region, in Jordan and Lebanon, before MacArthur was launched. It's going to be the largest scale early childhood program in a humanitarian setting. We're hoping to reach 1.5 million kids with the direct services of home visiting and center-based services. There will also be a new Sesame Street for the Middle East with new Muppets who've just been created. And we are bringing not just the great Sesame characters and stories, but early learning and lessons about how to nurture and support the development of children into health facilities, into women's centers, into even cash points where families go to get a stipend to help them stay afloat. And so if we can show that it is possible to integrate early childhood development into every service in the humanitarian sector, that will change the entire sector. And it has really catalyzed others to pay attention to this population and to realize that there are solutions out there. I have the good fortune of seeing people running programs in these very challenging circumstances and succeeding. And so it's easy for me to be an optimist.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you for the work, and thank you for stopping by the studio.
Sure thing. Thank you.